Hi everyone, this is the last video and this one is on data analytics in Facebook. You've already got the notes to go with this, but this video will just give a quick overview of how to go into your Facebook business page and check the data analytics on your page. So what are data analytics? Well, it's quite simply a metric that's applied, or a number that's applied to the number of, let's say, views that your posts are getting, the amount of times people have interacted with your content, the amount of unfollowers and followers that you're getting. All of these numbers feed into what are known as analytics. We want to keep an eye on our analytics. We want to analyze the data, hence the term data analytics, so that we can make more informed decisions about the kinds of content that we're putting on our Facebook business page. So for example, if you have a video or a post that's gotten a lot of engagement, a lot of likes and shares and comments, you'll think to yourself, okay, I want to do more of that. And then a comment or a post or a video that hasn't really gotten a lot of traction, you might do less of that. There are two ways that you can access data analytics in Facebook. There's a professional dashboard and there's the Meta Business Suite. For our purposes, the Meta Business Suite is probably a bit overkill. Although I have to say, at some point in time, and this is just a guess, but I think it probably will happen. Eventually, Facebook will retire the professional dashboard and they'll want everybody using the Meta Business Suite. The Meta Business Suite is a much more fully featured, it's got a lot more functions in it. It's not that it's difficult to use, but there's a bit of a steeper learning curve with it. But you can really drill down into the data and get some really, really specific numbers about your followers and about what they're doing on your business page. And you can also do cross-platform analytics. That's a fancy way of saying that it will do the three Meta platforms. It will do Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. With the professional dashboard, we're really just looking at Facebook's data and not Instagram and WhatsApp's data. And WhatsApp data. So at some point in time, you might want to move over to the Meta Business Suite. But for people starting out, if you're just starting out with your business, and certainly for our project, the professional dashboard is more than sufficient. We will take a quick peek into the Meta Business Suite though. So I'm on my Facebook business page here, and on the left hand side of the menu, I'm going to left click once in the professional dashboard. And the nice thing about the dashboard is that the second you go into it, you immediately get an overview of your analytics on this page overview section. You can see over here, I'm on the overview, which is the overview for the entire professional dashboard. And this page overview section here is giving me some important information. And it's always for the last 28 days. So I can see at a glance, and these little I buttons will give you information on what these numbers represent. So for views, if I left click once on views, I can see the number of times that my content was played or displayed, and that includes videos, posts, stories, and ads. I can see reach. If I left click once on that, that number is counting the reach. In other words, the number of times that my content reached other Facebook users, either organically, in other words, people just came across it, or paid distribution, in other words, a boosted post or an ad. And you can read down there, it includes all of the different ways that people can actually find your content, whether it was somebody tagged my Facebook business page or a post that I'd made, if somebody checked in, you know, the way somebody can check in at a certain business online, or page and profile visits. And it also includes reach from posts and stories that were boosted. Now, reach is only counted once if it occurs from both organic and paid distribution. That's important. It's just one count. And the metric is estimated as well. So this is kind of a best guess. Content interactions, I've had 5 content interactions. These numbers are obviously very low because this is not a real business page. I just set this up for the purpose of the course. But left clicking in the eye tells me that that's the number of likes or reactions, saves, comments, shares, and replies on my content, including ads. And then finally, the number of follows. I've had 1 new follower over the last 28 days. So that section there is a really nice kind of condensed overview of what's been happening on my Facebook business page over the last 28 days. And if I click on See More Insights, this link here, See More Insights, it just gives me a little bit more information. And it splits it up into categories. So for instance, I can see the numbers that I saw out here: views, reach, content interactions, and follows. If I click on See More, I can see that the number of views, the number of 3-second views for a piece of content, that could be a post or a video, the number of 1-minute views for a post or a video, the watch time, if I had put up any videos, that's 0 seconds, and then the interactions, the content interactions, the link clicks, if I had any links in my posts, I could decipher looking at that number there, how many times people had actually clicked those links. And then the number of followers. So I've had one new follower, nobody has unfollowed. And then you get what's known as a net follows. And that's essentially the number of followers minus the number of unfollowers in the selected time period. So that just gives you a little bit more information. Click on the back button. You can get to that slightly more detailed screen by clicking on the See More button here. Then we have these categories here. This is very useful. The top performing piece of content. So if you've put up 10 pieces of content, posted 10 times to your page in a month, you'll get to see, excuse me, you'll get to see the highest performing piece of content in that month. So at the moment, this post that I had posted about offering 20% off computer tutorials, that's been viewed 71 times. It's reached 44 people, and 3 people have either liked it or commented on it or perhaps shared it as well. And I can see the insights for that particular piece of content. If I left click once and see insights, I get up this pop-up screen here, and it gives me this nice pie chart here. 30% of the people who viewed it were followers, 70% of the people who viewed it were non-followers. And again, the same piece of information up here, 71 views, 44 people reached, 3 interactions, no link clicks. And then you can get to see your reactions down here as well at the same time as well. So who liked it, who loved it, and so on. Hopefully you're not going to get any of these guys here. People will not be hopefully responding in shock at prices, and you won't get any of these guys here, but you do want to see likes and loves popping up. There's a boost post here as well if I had wanted to boost this post. So I'm going to click on the X over here to close down that. So you can left click and see all as well, which will show you the kind of like a chart. So that's my highest performing piece of content. There's the second, there's the third, and so on. And I can left click once on any of these to get up that same pop-up window, which will show me at a glance number of views, number of people reached, number of interactions, link clicks, and then a nice pie chart here showing me who has seen it, who are followers, who have seen it, who are non-followers. Reactions are down here in the interaction section, and I could of course choose to boost a post. That's your top content section. Clicking on the back button again. This content section just basically shows me all of my content in one place. So if I click on content, that brings me back to the screen that I was just at when I clicked on top content. So the content section just shows me everything in a glance. If I click on ads, I'm not going to see anything in the ad center because I haven't created any ads. And then finally, the audience. Now, I don't have 100 followers, so I'm not going to see anything down here. You'll need at least 100 followers in order to be able to see more info about your audience. But that data does start to come in this section down here when you do have more than 100 followers. So click on the back button again. And that's essentially, if I left click down here, is there anything else? No, there's really nothing else that we needed to know about there. That was everything that I'd gone through in the notes. So just to quickly recap, when you're on your Facebook business page and you want to start viewing analytics, click on Professional Dashboard. You will then see an overview of the page, and you can see the insights here. You can left click on See More Insights, which will give you a little bit more information. Click on See More again to give you some more information about the number of times your content has been viewed and for how long people have viewed it. 3-second views, 1-minute views, watch time for videos. Click on back. The top content category shows you your top performing piece of content. Again, this is all in the last 28 days. So that's great because it really shows you at a glance what's performing well and then what's not performing so well. Content is simply, it's pretty much, if you click on content, you're going to get to see what you got to see if you click on see all here for top content. It just shows you a list of all of the content that you have posted, and then your audience gives you information about your audience, but you will need 100 followers or more in order to see anything in the audience category. That is the professional dashboard. Now we'll just take a quick look at the Meta Business Suite, just for the sake of completion. As I say, it lies slightly outside the scope of what we're doing, at least a full tutorial on it, but it's good to just take a dip into it. And as I say, at some point, as your audience grows and as your Facebook business page grows, and maybe you're moving on to Instagram and WhatsApp as well, you'll probably want to have maybe a more unified way of doing it, an easier way of doing it, and you want to get an overview of the data on the 3 platforms. So the Business Suite will be better for that. And there's a good chance that at some point the professional dashboard might be entirely retired by Facebook, or by Meta, I should say. And they'll kind of force people then, they'll push people over into the Meta Business Suite. It's just a guess, it may not happen. So let's have a look at the Meta Business Suite now. Now we're going to have a look at the Meta Business Suite, and in order to get to that, if we go to the menu on the left hand side and left click once on Meta Business Suite, when you're in the professional dashboard, there are many ways of getting to the Business Suite from in there as well, so they are kind of trying to nudge people towards it. There are a lot of links depending on what page you go into in the professional dashboard. You'll see a link for Meta Business Suite. So there's your menu for the Meta Business Suite, and we're going to basically ignore all of this. We're only interested in the analytics side of this, so we're going to click on this Insights link down here. So if I left click on Insights, you get up this very useful your last week in review, and it shows you your activity, your goals, your results, and your messaging activity. So I'll click on the X. That will pop up every now and again when you click on the Insights link. So we get up this kind of Insights submenu. And I'll just quickly run down through each of these. An overview, that's very much like the overview page that we saw on the professional dashboard. But as you can see, things are a bit fancier here. We get these kind of nice line graphs showing us kind of peaks and troughs in the activity. So the same numbers are being shown here. 222 views. That's for all of my content. 47 people reached. 5 content interactions. That's things like likes, and unlikes, or not unlikes, but thumbs down. Hopefully you're not getting too many of those. It's things like comments as well, and shares, and then the number of people who had followed, and then if anybody unfollowed as well. Recent content, again, very similar to the professional dashboard, but just a lot more fully featured. So I can click on the see all content and see all of my content instead of just the recent content. And again, at a glance, I can see what's doing very well here. So this one currently offering 20% off computer tutorials that I posted on the 23rd of March. That was doing very well. Some of them then doing not so well. But you can see at a glance. They have a recommendations pane down here, and what the Business Suite will do is it will simply give recommendations about, you might see an estimated daily result of blah when you spend €2 a day on ads. You can ignore that, however, if you want to. They're just recommendations. So that's the overview page. Now if I click on the plan page, that presents you with a recommended set of tasks that Facebook calculates and recommends that you do based on your current page and your recent activity. So for example, a plan might consist of publishing let's say 1 ad and maybe 5 posts, or as it says here, 7 posts on Facebook, maybe publishing a story, connecting to Instagram if you haven't already done it. I haven't done it yet. Maintaining a response rate. So in other words, when you put up a post, you're hoping to get at least 1% of your followers are actually responding to it. You don't have to do a weekly plan, but sometimes it's a good idea. It's a good way of kind of focusing you and saying, okay, this week I'm going to do this, and this. So the plans are actually, they're a pretty good idea. You don't have to do it every week, but I'd recommend, if you are using the Business Suite, maybe every now and again follow the plan. And again, the plan is generated automatically by Facebook based on the number of followers you have and the kind of activity that your page has been generating. If I click on the results link, that's very similar to what we saw on the professional dashboard, but it gives you a much more complete breakdown of the various metrics for your page. So page reach, likes, and other reactions. And we get these nice line charts here. So we can kind of see at a glance peaks and troughs, what did really well and where did it do well. And I can hover my mouse over any of these points and troughs as well to see how many people were reached, how many views were had. Very sophisticated. And very visual as well. Left clicking on the audience, and again we need 100 followers, and I should stress 100 followers who are also not friends, so they can't be on your personal friends list. Don't forget your Facebook page is connected to your business page, so you need 100 followers who are also not friends, so outside of your friends list. But then you'll start to see some very sophisticated and very detailed information coming in here, like where they're from, age and gender, and all that kind of stuff. Quite useful. Benchmarking is very potentially useful because you can compare how your page is performing against similar pages within your industry. Very valuable and potentially very useful because it lets you set goals, realistic goals, and it kind of lets you copy and emulate trends which might be proving popular on other pages. You can also, and this is very useful, you can click on this businesses to watch link up here and you can add a business. I could left click on add a business here and I could add a business that I'm interested in watching on a consistent basis. And what that will do is it will allow you to compare that business page to yours on an ongoing basis. And that's really about saying, okay, if I identify a business that's doing very well, I can start to look at how they're doing things. What kind of content are they putting up? And what kind of feedback and interaction are they getting from their followers? And you can start to kind of emulate, without directly copying. Obviously, we know we have to be careful in terms of how we copy content, certainly. But the style of what they're doing, and the rate at which they're doing it, and kind of thematically as well, we could copy maybe some of the things that they're doing. So as they say, good artists copy, great artists steal. We're not stealing any content, but we're certainly maybe emulating a specific business that's doing very well. So you can do that on the benchmarking link. You can left click on businesses to watch. You can left click on add a business, and you can actually add another business and then go in there every week or even every day if you want to, and then compare your business against theirs. If I left click on the overview, well, as with the professional dashboard, there's a lot of repetition of material here, but again, in the Meta Business Suite, you just get a much more complete and detailed overview on this section here on how your content is performing. So much more detailed breakdown. And again, top content by views, top content formats, in other words, what's been doing particularly well, photos that I've been uploading, text, links, videos. If I had put videos up, videos would be appearing here as well. Left click once on the content link, and again, very similar to what we saw in the previous section in the professional dashboard, but just a bit easier to read and a bit more fully featured. I can filter the content as well and only look for stories. I can look for a specific media type like photos, videos, only text posts, or posts with links in them as well. And I could filter them by marketing channel. I could decide that I only want to display content here that was organically reached, or content that I had actually paid for, like a boosted post or an ad. The marketing channel means, sorry, the placement I should say. I can also look for stuff on my Facebook feed and Instagram feed as well. And this is where the Business Suite comes into its own, because it allows you to do all this stuff across the the three Meta platforms, not Facebook platforms, but Meta platforms. And then finally, the earnings section. The earning page will give you an overview of any earnings that you've received to date from your posts or ad, any money that you've made. Remember, it's all about trying to convert these clicks and these views on your content into paying customers.